welcome to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to be working on my S10, which has an LQ4, would be the 6-liter LS in it, Gen 3 LS, with a 4L80 behind it. And so I'm going to be working on the rear axle. It has a Ford 8.8 axle in the back, so you'll be able to see right now. Right there we got a Ford 8.8 axles. It has 373 gears in it with an open diff, and open diffs are lame. And I was planning on welding it, but found this for like 60 or 70, maybe it was 80 bucks, I'm not sure. But what this is called is a mini spool. So this will completely lock your two axles in the rear together, and both rear wheels will have to spin, whether it's backwards, forwards, turning. It's not very good for the tires, but probably gonna smoke the tires off anyway, so I don't really mind. Now welding it would be a lot cheaper, but my welder is a flux core welder, and I didn't really want to buy a new welder just to weld this. I was like, well, for 80 bucks I'll buy this. And what it does is this slips over one axle. This one right here slips over the other axle, kind of like this. And these two nuggets slip right down in the cracks and lock them together. So yeah, what I'm going to do is pull the rear axle out, and you don't need to do this. You just got to take the tires and the brakes off and the rear diff cover. But I have 3-inch lowering springs that I want to put in it while it's out, because it's got blocks in it right now, but the blocks is just and they're 2-inch lowering blocks. I want 3 inches. I want 3 inches lowering, just to put it down a little bit further. And so yeah, I'm gonna get the jack out, jack this thing up, and start pulling the rear axle. Nothing's actually tight yet, so should be pretty, take like 5 minutes. Alright guys, I got the axle out now, so I think I'm ready to install that mini spool. Wasn't that bad to get the axle out, actually. It just took a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but she's out. So we're gonna have to take these brakes off, and then calipers off so the axles can slide out, the rear diff cover, brakes on both sides actually. So yeah, I'm gonna take those off now. All right guys, so I got the back cover off, the housing cover off, and brake calipers are hanging down here. Usually you would want to tie them up, but I got lazy, so they're hanging by the brake line. There's the rotor. Other side's off as well. So now that you're in here, right here, this little screw, bolt, whatever it is. This side doesn't have one, but just that one locks this pin in. If you take this off, you'll be able to take the whole inside, this whole assembly out, and replace it with the mini spool. Alright, so I got the pin out. As you can see, that's where the bolt that locks it in goes through. Set this thing down here, and take these out. This one out. They have shims on them. Make sure you take the shims out as well. And then go ahead and push the axles in. When I push them in, you can see that comes all the way in there. You can push the gear back, and then right here, there's a clip that goes over the axle. Right there, if it'll focus, it goes right over there. You can just pull it off. And then this axle will come right out. I'm just going to take it partially out just so it's out of my way. And right here, got another gear. Want to do the same with the other side. Push the axle in and pull the clip out. Right there you go. So I got the mini spool right here on the floor, right beside the other gears and stuff. So these two, and the pin and the big pin get reused. The rest of the stuff is junk. So I got the first one in. As you can see, clip is in it already, right there. Works like a charm. Now, I'm gonna put this one in there, the other side, and I used the bearing that was on the big gears. Actually, it's called a shim, but I used it that side. I don't think it's really necessary, but it's right in here. See if I can get it. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. There shouldn't be any movement in there anymore, so it shouldn't really need a shim, but see if we can pop this thing in there. Alright, kind of hard to do this with just one hand. I'm going to set the camera down and pop it in. I got the axle slid into it. Kind of hard to do it with one hand. So you got to make sure all your stuff stays clean before you put it back in. Put your clip back in. Right there we go. And slide the axle back out. Alright, so that's where these two little blocks come in. Slip right. I can do this with one hand. Alright, might not be able to do this with one hand. So I got both of these, actually got both of these back out now because the blocks, small blocks, would not fit between them. So I thought, well, maybe these shims do not belong in there, because it was just about the right amount of spacing. These shims were sitting right on here. I had just left them in there, and apparently if you leave them in there, it will not fit. So try again. Alright, so I got them both back in, and we'll see if this thing fits now. Like a glove. Alright, so now I'm going to spin this thing ever so slightly. And stick this one on the other side. Now what you want to do is spin this down into the thingy, and they'll both stay in there. Grab your pin, Slide your pin right down in there. And it should come right up there. Then you can put the bolt back in the hole. Should be good to go. Alright guys, so once you have everything back together, you want to put some gasket maker around this or on the lid, whichever one you decide. I don't have some yet because I fresh out of gasket maker, so I got to go to the parts store and get some. But once you do that, you can go put the brakes back on and put the wheels back on, and yours is probably going to be in the vehicle, so you can go do burnouts with 2 wheels. But yeah, I think that'll be it. If you like the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.